Hi, Eric and David. Um, so David, I hope you don't mind. I'm showing the head that you sculpted, even though this got weird. I made some copies of it and did some changes to the copies, and somehow those changes affected the original. So what I would do is with your original sculpt, I would take it and oh, I probably did this when I was trying to sculpt and it wasn't showing up on it. I probably had this selected on accident. So I'd probably make a copy of your file, which is what I should have done. Anyway, I had made a copy of the actual sculpt, and what I did was I had used the in sculpt mode, I had used this draw sharp, and what I had done was I had drawn these loops around here. And basically what I'm doing here, I can show you. Um, sorry. I want to look up here. If you look up face, edge loops, you can see the proper way to set up these edge loops. And, these these can be different, but there's a basic premise behind them. And it's the basic premise that's usually the same, is it works the same as your facial anatomy. The muscle flow that you see on your face, where you see rings around the eyes, rings around the mouth, a ring around the nose, and then, typically like here in the face edge loops, there's a laugh line going right here. So let's see, here's another one. Let's look at the low poly ones. You know, so you got the ring around the mouth, ring around the eyes, and then you always have this laugh line right here that goes around the nose. The nose, they didn't really put too much on there. I like this one better, where they're putting a ring around the nose itself. And then I did that, right? I want to put one here. I put an edge right here around the edge of the eyelid. I put another one here where the eyelid meets the eye socket. I put another one here around the eye socket. I put one here around the edge of the nostril. The edge of the nostril that you had here could have worked, but I did this. I added to it because when I used the remesher, it just was either garbage or was unusable for me. It made my computer crash. But when I used that Exo side, which is a trial, and then you can buy it, it worked. But when I tried it, it didn't include all this stuff. It didn't include rings around the mouth and the laugh line and the special ring around here, the laugh line right here. It didn't have that. And so when I've added this in and a ring around the nose, ring around the edge of the lips, ring around the lips itself, going a line going from the corner of the nose to the corner of the mouth and the laugh line, and then here, and then also here around the brow ridge, I put one ring here on the interior of the ear and then one on the exterior of the ear going around it. Um, then it shows up and it's like you can do this, remesh it, and then you can smooth this stuff out. As long as the topology follows it, it's going to deform the way you want it to when you animate and deform the face. I just was like, okay, well, I've already put all this in and this in. I might as well do one along the temple and do one here around underneath where the neck meets the head. That's always good to do. If I had to do all the thing, like if you had a whole body, I would also follow up and do one around right around the shoulder, and I'd have it go all the way around the shoulder. Because I've done the thing with the guides telling it to remesh and told it to go around the shoulder, and it still screwed it up. And that's a pain. I would do it around the shoulder, And then it's when you sculpt it in like this, then it's like it won't ignore it. It has to do it. I would do that around the shoulder. I would do it around everything that comes off the trunk, right? So the torso. So I would do it around where the thighs meet the pelvis, and then I would do it around the wrist, and then I would do it like cutting the hand in half, which we don't have a thing here to show that. But basically, your hand cut sideways in half because these remeshers, whenever it comes to fingers and toes, they never do a good job with it. They screw it all up. And having that nicely cut in half on the hand is going to be like save you a ton of time later when you're trying to UV map the thing. All right. So what we're doing is we're remeshing it to the point to where it's low poly. It's not this high poly like you have here, which has got to be 1.5 million at least of polys, and really difficult to animate, really difficult to UV map. We're getting it down to where it's like, 7,000 polys. And then from there, you can subdivide it and build on what you've got there. That will be like your base. And then when you subdivide it on the higher levels, you can use the higher levels and transfer those, bake those details from the higher level mesh down here to your base lower level mesh. And it should be applied as a displacement map. If the process works the same as what I've seen working with ZBrush and Maya, that's what we're aiming for. So that it's low poly when you animate, it's low poly when you work with it, but when you render it, that's where you see the detail, and that's where it slows it up when you render, not while you're trying to work with it. Eric, when you're working with your banana character and you had the rig on it, it was rigged, but it was like barely moving, right? Like you'd move it and it'd give you a few minutes before it actually moved the thing. And that's because it's really high poly. So this is the way that they're able to get away with it and make it actually usable in a film or something like that. So I wanted to show you this because I tried doing it with Remesher, just the remesh that comes with Blender, and it crashed. It crashed my computer twice. So it's like, I'm just going to record this stuff, show it to you now, and then I'm going to end this video. This will be like part 1. And then I'm going to try it at least with the exo side, and that'll show you the result of what I'm looking for. And then in that video that I've given to you that shows they're free methods, it's like, why not try and see if we're doing it like this, if we have to do this for the one you pay for anyway, can it work and get like that out of the free versions? That would be cool, you know? So I'm going to save this video. This will be part 1.